Hey, good looking. I'm so glad that you came to my kitchen today to sit there and see what we all have cooking. Grab a hold of that vine, swing right on in my kitchen, and let's get cooking. Good looking. Well, hey there, good looking. I'm so glad that you stopped into my kitchen today because I have a canning project just planned for all of us to can up. Now, I know a lot of you may have grew up with it or served this to your children or even to your grandkids. It's the beloved SpaghettiOs. Now, I have to admit, when I do can this up, I don't always use the little oval-shaped noodles. A lot of times I use the noodles that I have on hand, and these were the Rotini, and well, this is SpaghettiOs. So like I say, I don't always use the large rings, but for the sake of the video, I'm gonna use it because it's just not SpaghettiOs if you don't have them little magic rings. So, we're gonna jump right on into the recipe. Now, first, let's start off with the jars. Now, I'm canning my SpaghettiOs in pint jars because it's just for my husband and myself, and I found a great use for having SpaghettiOs canned up on my canning shelves because it's a lifesaver in a lot of dishes and in a lot of recipes that I do use. And see, and that's where these little shapes come in. They're great for side dishes. So, I'm choosing to can mine up in pint jars, but you can sit there and use half pints, or if you're canning it up for like toddlers and such, I go with the little 4-ounce jelly jars. So, with all that being said, I'm gonna put my canning jars into my pressure cooker, and we're gonna sit there and get these jars all heated up. And I just wanted to show you that these were from 2020. In fact, this is my very last jar, and I'm gonna be making something out of it for supper tonight for my husband and myself. And like I say, a pint jar is more than enough for my husband and myself. Now that I have my jars warming up, we have to sit there and decide what size of a canning project do y'all want to do. Now, you can sit there and use the little small cans that we all buy of the soups on the grocery stores, or you could go all the way up to the family size can of the soups, or you can go all the way up to the restaurant size cans. You decide how much or how little you want to sit there and can up SpaghettiOs. Now, for today's project, I'm choosing to use the family size can. So, I'm gonna sit there, open up my family size can, and we'll be right back. Alright, I opened up my can of soup. I'm gonna remove the jam and jelly maker's lid. And that's right, I'm bringing Fabio out for this one. So, I'm just gonna sit there and dump our can of soup right all in to the Fresh Tech automatic jam and jelly maker. Gonna get all that goodness out of my can. Okay. Now, I'm gonna run over to my sink. I'm gonna grab 1 can full of water. Now, I'm just gonna sit there and take my spatula, and I'm just gonna sit there and kinda give the sides and the bottom a good little twirl with the spatula to get all that goodness up. Now we're just gonna dump the can of water right into the jam and jelly maker. I'm gonna come down here. I'm just gonna push the jam button on and push enter. And Fabio here, he's gonna do it all for me. And let me tell you, this is one of my favorite kitchen toys. I do love my jam and jelly maker. So, I'll see you in 21 minutes. So, I'm gonna give it one last stir. I'm gonna set my debubbler off to the side. I'm gonna grab one more canning jar out of my canner. And we're gonna continue. But I'm just gonna give this one last stir. Set my debubbler down. I'm gonna move my canning funnel back. Now, I'm gonna sit to take my paper toweling and I'm gonna dip it into vinegar. And I hope I have the camera at the right angle where it's sitting. I can't see the picture, so I kind of go in blind. Now, if I pick up any red tomato juice or the soup, I'll run back over the paper towel until it comes out clean. But each time, I keep folding it over onto itself, so when I am wiping and I'm dipping into the vinegar, it's a clean place on the paper towel. Okay. I'm gonna grab my canning lid, place it down onto my canning jar. I have the canning ring, And we're just gonna sit there and finger tighten. You're not gonna wanna crank it on, you're just gonna wanna finger tighten. And after you finger tighten it, I'm gonna take this jar and I'm gonna place it right into the hot pressure canner. So, off to the canner, my SpaghettiOs go. Okay, I put more tomato soup down on the bottom. I'm gonna pour a little bit less than a half cup of our large ring noodles. I'm going to add that all in, and then we're just going to continue to add our sauce, leaving 1 inch headspace. And I'm glad that we came into this little conundrum that we have here. Now, as you see, I didn't have quite enough liquid to go all the way up to this first rung. Well, I don't want to sit there and add any more water than what I've already added. So my solution is I have some tomato bouillon. I'm going to sit there and take a half of a teaspoon of this of this tomato bouillon, and I'm going to add it to the pint jar, and then we're going to sit there and fill the rest off or top it with water. So I'm going to get my measuring spoon out, half teaspoon of the tomato bouillon. So here's the half teaspoon. I'm just going to add that right on in. I'm just going to use a half cup that I've been measuring out my pasta with. I'm just going to get some water in my measuring cup, and we're just going to come over here and pour it in until we come right up to the 1 inch headspace. So now I can continue on with my canning session. I'm gonna sit there, grab my deep bubbler. I'm gonna mix that tomato bouillon on in. I'm gonna mix up all the large ring noodles. I'm gonna put my debubbler down. I'm gonna grab my canning lid, and I'm gonna grab my canning ring. We're gonna place that all on and off to the pressure canner. That one goes as well. Now that I have the SpaghettiOs over on my pressure canner, we're gonna sit there, allow our pressure canners to vent for the 10 minutes, and then we're gonna put our weight on. Now for my area, it would be the 10-pound weight. And then we're gonna bring it all up to the 10 pounds of pressure, and as soon as it comes up to the proper 10 pounds of pressure, that is when I'm going to sit there and start my timing process for 10 minutes. Here the SpaghettiOs are taken out of the pressure canner. They were allowed to cool off for 24 hours. Now they're ready to be taken over to the sink and to be washed. And then you know what? Off to the pantry shelves they go. So, if you liked what you saw here today, please give me a big old thumbs up. Every thumbs up helps out my channel. And if you're not yet a subscriber, go up, hit that subscribe button, tap that little bell. That way you always be notified every time I do put out a new video. And as always, here's the happy canning, but better yet, happy eatins. Y'all come back now, you hear? And here's the recipe.